meantime, if you all have any questions that you would like to submit for consideration to present to the candidates, please do so now. There's somebody going around with paper and pencil. All right, we're going to get started here. Please take your seats. There are some empty seats that still need to be filled.
Good evening. My name is Kathy Campana, and I'm the 2018 Santa Cruz County Board of Realtors Government Affairs Chairperson. That's a mouthful. Mic's not working. Okay. I'd like to thank the audience and the candidates for attending. Obviously, this is a very important election due to the location of Nogales and the economic benefits to the city, the county, the state, and our entire nation. As realtors, we are advocates for our communities, and we encourage all voters to become informed and to exercise their right to vote. We expect when this is through, you'll have an idea of who you're going to vote for, and we certainly hope you do take that opportunity to exercise your right and vote. We're going to start with the City Council candidates. Linda Rushton, Robert Rojas, Jesus Catura, Esther Lopez, Saulo Bonilla, Hector Bojorquez, and Marco Gonzalez. And our moderator tonight is Manuel Coppola from the Nogales International.
Okay. Thank you. Good evening, folks. Okay, let's get the show on the road here. We're going to start with Mr. Bojorquez tonight. And then, are you all familiar with the format? Okay. So it's a minute and a half to answer the question. So don't waste any time, and we'll keep this thing rolling. First question, beginning with Mr. Bojorquez. The long-term economic future of Nogales directly helps our community. Should Nogales capitalize on its gateway to the United States position to attract business? Please explain.
Yes, I believe so, because we are one of the main gates in the United States. I see a lot of future for Nogales if there's more promotion, if there's more stability in our government. And I believe that if we bring more jobs to Nogales, more retailing, that would attract a lot of people, a lot of customers from the Mexican side of the border.
Same question, Mr. O'Neill.
Absolutely. I think we should capitalize with our neighbors in Mexico. Seeing that millions and millions of dollars pass through the border every day, we've failed greatly. It seems that everyone stops and just fuels with gasoline here, and they do their shopping in Tucson. It seems that we have failed with businesses here, and for some reason, in the past 10, 15 years, businesses have closed. In the past 3 years, 35 businesses have closed. So we need to improve in attracting more people from across the border to do their shopping here. And of course, new businesses will definitely, we need to fix those, or fix the bleeding in this town. And definitely, we need to attract new businesses, do more publicity in Mexico to do their shopping here, to do their business in Nogales, not in Tucson, not in Phoenix, but in Nogales. Nogales first, always.
Thank you, Mr. Bonillas. Mr. Cataura, timers, are you ready? Thank you.
Can you repeat the question?
The long-term economic future of Nogales directly helps our community. Should Nogales capitalize on its gateway to the United States position to attract businesses? Please explain.
Definitely. I think that being a border town, we have to concentrate on Nogales. I think that if we miss that opportunity, we're missing jobs. I think that the emphasis and the focuses is to work in partnership with Mexico and Nogales, Arizona. I think that that produces jobs, income for the city, and makes the city prosperous. I feel that the more we can concentrate in partnership with Mexico, it betters Nogales. A case in point, I think that just recently, a couple of months back, the governor of Sonora, partnership with Sierra Vista to promote their mall over there. I have never seen this here in Nogales. Can you imagine what that can produce here? To me, it would be jobs. Thank you.
Yes, my answer is yes. We need them. We are brothers. We have agreed and we have a commitment, and we signed an hermanamiento years ago. That means we're supposed to work together. I mean, they need us, we need them. They bring a lot of money into the United States. Of course, into us is much better because this is the border. So we need jobs here so that people, they don't have to go to Tucson and Phoenix. We need an attraction here, something that they really like here so they can stay here, not only for gasoline. Come on, I mean, we're a nice and friendly community, so we do need that kind of people here. We need to improve our business. We need to improve our tourism. We need a lot of cultural events here so that people come to Nogales for the many, many opportunities that we have, not just to cross the border. So I do think we need that, and we have to keep working towards a better community.
Thank you. Thank you. My name is Robert Rojas, and I would like to acknowledge the Santa Cruz County Board of Realtors and thank them for having us here, as well as the Santa Cruz County Chamber of Commerce. I can really relate to this question. As a matter of fact, I've worked as a teacher for 38 years in this community, and to make ends meet, in the summer, I used to need to have a job, and I had a job with Sykes, which was a telemarketing company here. It was a very successful business and did very well. Now, one of the things that I noticed as I worked there for 5 years was that we need to have an educated workforce. We need to have people that are educated and that can attract companies with people that are educated and that are skilled. Once you have that foundation, you will attract businesses. Thank you.
We all hear about we need this and we need that. We need retail. We need a plan. That's what we need. We need to be able to sit down, focus on who we want here, what kind of businesses we want here, what kind of employees people will be able to get here, and hire an economic development director who is familiar with borderland businesses. You know, coming back on the plane yesterday, I saw an ad for Colorado. It was, work where you vacation. And I thought to myself, now let's think about this. Why don't we work and have factories where your exports or your imports come. So we need to attract businesses that are familiar with both sides of the border and can use both sides of the border to all of our advantage. Thank you.
Thank you, candidates. The next question, we're going to start with Mr. Bonillas. And then we'll go to Mr. Cataura and on down and then back to Mr. Bojorquez. The topic of annexation is being explored by the city of Nogales. When annexation was addressed several years ago, the community spoke against it due to the flood insurance rates and changes to fire districts that affect both city and county. What steps can be taken to address these issues before seeking public input?
Annexation, for me, personally, is not really a priority at this moment, but I think that if you're asking me what steps it would be, I think it would be to first analyze, study the situation. I guess study it again, and then implement a plan, and then execute it. I think right now the issues in Nogales, we need to fix things first in the city. Annexation right now, it seems like a good idea, but for me, it's not really a priority. It seems like a good idea. I thought about it, but it's not really one of my to-do lists right now. I think it is really a good thing to do, but right now I think the city of Nogales has to first fix things in-house, and then thank you.
Mr. Cataura?
First, I think annexation is a positive way of bringing monies or revenues to the city of Nogales. But at the same time, it costs money to maintain annexation. At this time, I don't feel that the city of Nogales is ready for annexation. I have heard articles on the international, they want to do some annexation by Kino Springs, maybe by near close to Rio Rico. My question is that before you can make a decision if it's good or bad for the city, you have to analyze it. If the investment annexation is going to be more than what it's going to cost to maintain it. At this time, what I've seen from the city, I don't think that the city of Nogales is ready for annexation.
I am in favor of annexation. We have to grow up. Nogales is a small community, but then we need to expand. Why should we stay the way we are when we can get better? I mean, to me, getting better, growing, brings more opportunity. Of course, it's going to cost, but we have to figure out and, plan for the future. But yes, I am in favor of annexation.
Thank you. There's a formula for annexation. You have to look at your budget. You have to look at your revenue. You have to look at the different departments. You look at, let's look at the police department. Let's look at the safety and the security that's involved. Right now, we're down to 55 police officers. We should have at least 65. So we're minus 10 police officers at this time. We need to get our force to its limit of 65. That's going to take money. you have to look at your fire department, and so on and so forth. So you have to get your check and balances correct before you decide to do an annexation. So you're going to have to do your homework. Again, here, I think it's a good time for you to plan and start looking into the future and see if it's a viable decision for the city. Thank you.
Okay, Linda, I'm going to interrupt you. We're getting some comments from folks in the back that can't see the candidates, so I want to ask you to stand and speak a little louder into the microphones.
I've never been told to speak louder, but I will. All right. I think we should annex, but I think we should go northeast instead of north. I'd like to see Keno Springs come in. That would be less of a strain on our budget. And people out there would like to see themselves come into the city just for police protection. Right now, I don't think we're capable, budget-wise, of taking on Rio Rico, but Mrs. Lopez is correct. We cannot stand still. We need to go forth. And so let's take little bites instead of big ones. Thank you.
Thank you. We're going to start with, no,
Same question?
no. We're going to start with Esther Lopez. I apologize, Mr. Bojorquez. Take your best shot.
Nice. Well, annexation is a good idea, but I don't think Nogales is really ready for it right now. I'm not too familiar with the Nogales, City of Nogales budget, and as Mr. Rojas, he's a current councilman, he's more aware of what the budget looks like right now. And like Ms. Reshna said, let's take the small bites. Let's try annexing with Keno Springs, and if that works good, maybe we can start planning on Rio Rico. But at this time, I think if we partner with the county government and work a plan on annexation, maybe it would work. But as far as I'm concerned right now, my opinion is I need to study this a little bit more, and then I'll have a better opinion on it. Thank you.
Thank you. We'll take a question from the audience. And this one's concerning the recycling program, which has kind of gone by the wayside. And we'll start with Mr. Kataura. How can the city implement the recycling program properly?
I think right now, the city collects trashes twice a week at my house. It's on Tuesdays and Fridays. And I think that if the effort from the city of Nogales is to do recycling, you have to invest money on it. It costs money. As it is right now, the city of Nogales collects trash twice a week. Okay, and one of that day is for recycling. But what happens, a lot of the residents don't recycle. They use the same can of trash with recycling and not recycling materials. I think that if the city of Nogales wants to revive recycling, they have to invest money on that process.
I am in favor of recycling. The thing is that first we have to educate our citizens. Because we tried it once, it didn't work. Why? It works everywhere else that I go, they recycle. And when I tell them, well, in Nogales, we're not doing it. We were partially doing it, but we're not doing it. Why? Because we, the people, we're not helping the community. So it's our responsibility as citizens, if we want to go ahead and do it. Of course, it's going to take money, but that's okay. Little by little, we will educate our citizens, and it is a good program, and I think we should do it.
Thank you. Oh. Back in 1993, I believe it was under the administration of Jose Canchola, I took a trip to Tennessee. As a matter of fact, where's Mr. Molera? Bugs Molera just went to Tennessee, and we were just talking about that trip. But anyway, went down to Tennessee to look at some of the companies that were involved in recycling back then. And it was a really good educational trip. Now, one of the things that happened from that time to probably now is money. It's always money. It's a great idea, but there's a lot of money involved. And we have to get staff involved, and everybody has to have a buy-in on conserving, working on recycling. There's got to be a community buy-in as well as staff. And staff has to be well trained for that. So that's something that we can work on. But we have to see really if the community really, really wants it.
One of the ways I think we should attack recycling is that initially put out a flyer, Spanish and English, in the paper so that people understand what is recyclable and what is not recyclable. I have a dear neighbor across the street that every trash day, both cans are out. And I don't think he is aware of what is recycling or what is recyclable. So that is one of the things we need to start doing. Let everybody know what's recyclable.
Thank you. Mrs. Lopez, this one's for you. You started out. All right, go again. I'm so sorry. Yeah, take your time.
I hope I'm tall enough for you guys. I think as these people have said that I think that education is the biggest problem. That educating the people of the city, that's the biggest problem. I do remember back in 93, 94 that they had the two bins, and I think that's the biggest problem. But I think if we implement these 3 steps, research, plan, and execute, and we take time to really start up this program. I know it's really expensive to implement, but I think if we take another trip to one of these plants and see how this works, I think that we can launch another, start up this recycling program again in Nogales. I truly believe that we can have a successful program in Nogales, but again, I believe that in implementing these 3 steps, research, plan, and execute, I really think that we can have a successful recycling program in Nogales. I think that back in the 90s, we tried it. For some reason, it didn't work, but I really think that we have the people in Nogales to have a successful recycling program in Nogales.
Well, if there was less candidates, maybe I would have some ideas to say, but what else can I say about recycling that hasn't been said, you know? And one of the main things is education. Maybe going to another community that has the same recycling program and ask them, you know, how is it working? How is the recycling functioning for you? Is it bringing in the revenue that you're planning on your operating budgets? And see how they survive on recycling. Other than that, you know, education is the biggest point of interest for this topic. Thank you.
Thank you. Now, Mrs. Lopez. Okay. You're familiar with the charter. You're familiar with how the city council and mayor are supposed to work. Would you tell us what the role of the mayor and the council, how those two interplay?
Well, we all work together. It's not a matter of a mayor taking a decision and the council not accepting the decision. It's a team of 7 people working together. Sometimes, of course, we have different ideas. Sometimes we agree, sometimes we don't. But at the end, we have to look what's best for the community. So that means right now, the way we're doing it, it's perfect because, of course, the mayor brings an idea. Maybe one of the councils have a different idea, but then we work together, and then we decided that that's the best we can do. Perfect. Remember, we're different. We're 7 people with different ideas, and we want to work on a different way, or we're not in the same road. That means we all work differently, we all think different. At the end, of course, we have to work for you, for the community. So what's best for you, it's what's best for us. And we represent you as a community, not us in personal.
Ms. Lopez, it's not that easy. Yeah, you can say it's easy, but it's really not easy. You do have a lot of individuals with different ideas, different ways of their engagement with the community, among ourselves as well. It's very difficult. But you really have to have the demeanor. You have to, I think, more important on what you're going to say, more important is if you're listening. And I see more than anything, what I see in my experiences that I have been in the city council and the board of supervisors, what I see is poor listeners. If you really, really are listening, you're going to do a much better job in following the charter and following the proper protocol. So I think you need to be a good listener before you become a good talker. Thank you.
First of all, we are not a strong mayor type of government. We are a city manager type of government. And I think, and I hope, and I've always known as the eternal optimist, that when the new council gets seated, that we can all sit down and find out what everybody on that council wants. What do they want to see for their constituents? And how do we work together to achieve that? For 8 years, I have been attending city council meetings. And I have been sad. I've laughed. But most of all, I'm very frustrated, very frustrated. If you do not have a common goal, you will be all over the place. And that seems to me it's what is happening now. So we need to get a common goal. Thank you.
We'll go back to Mr. Bojorquez, please.
Okay, so as a mayor and council, we are there to set policy. We are there to work for the citizens of Nogales, not to work for each one of us individuals. We have to work as a team, not to have personal grudges against each other, you know, just because I go to a different store, it doesn't mean that I'm not in favor of doing something for the other people of that community. Teamwork is a big item here, and if we don't do it as a team, we'll never survive. You know, we've been going back and forth. Every administration that's in and out, you know, there's always 3 and 4, 4 and 3, and we never accomplish any of our goals because of that. We're focusing too much on our personal things. So I believe that if we work as a team and pull in the same direction, we'll do a lot of work together.
For those of you who don't know me, what I do, I'm in the audio and video and lighting business. I do audio for big concerts where 22 or maybe 35,000 people attend. And if we don't work in concert with other people, that is, I may work with a lighting guy that I may not necessarily get along with, there are 30,000 fans that are going to be disappointed. I've learned to work with other people, learn to set aside differences. I believe that city council and the mayor have to work like a radio. Like when the radio frequency is not finely tuned, we got to make it work. We got to fine tune that radio frequency, because sometimes it may seem like we're in tune, but we're not. Maybe to the millennials, what I'm talking about, what a radio is, you may not know what that is, but those old radios had a fine tuning knob, and you had to tweak it a little bit to make it sound right. That's what the city council is, because sometimes we may not have, we may not really agree, but we represent the city of Nogales. We represent constituents, and we need to be in tune completely, 100%, or else we're not going to reach that goal for this city. And right now, this city is in dire
Thank you,
straits.
Mr. Odias.
Thank
Time
you.
is up. Mr. Cataura.
I agree with Mr. Bojorquez that the mayor and city council need to work as a team. But sometimes what happens is there's personal agenda gets in between the mayor and city councils. I think that one of the issues should be that I think that city council and mayor should have more training, how to conduct themselves, let agendas, personal agendas on the side, and for the betterment of the community. You know, if you're elected, you're there to serve the voters of the city of Nogales. So what I see and I have seen in the city of Nogales is sometimes there's no teamwork, limited communications, and it becomes, in my opinion, personal agendas. And I don't think that that's right for the people of Nogales. I feel that from what I've seen, that the mayor and city council, because when once you're elected, it may be your first time, you need training. And the training should be, how can you better the community better? Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Cataura. Now, we're going to have to wrap this up, unfortunately. Each of you, beginning with Mr. Rojas, have a 2-minute closing statement.
Thank you, Mr. Coppola. I want to thank every single one of you for being here tonight, ladies and gentlemen. It was a pleasure to be here. I hope that you got to know me a little bit. I know some of you do know me, but I'm glad that some of you did get to know me, some of you that have not. But it was a pleasure being here. I hope you consider me next month on the 28th with your vote of confidence, and or in November. I don't know what the date is in November, but it's in November. Hope you consider me then. I would be a pleasure for me to continue to serve. I think of myself as a public servant. I'm here for you, and I want to continue to be here for you. Thank you very much.
Thanks to all of you for coming and for all of your support. If you do not know me, I hope I come across as one who believes in Nogales. I believe that Nogales is one of the most important cities in the state. And we are, and many of you have heard me say this before, treated like the red-headed stepchild. it's embarrassing sometimes to attend city council meetings and see the interaction when we have guests in the audience from a new business and we're there tearing each other's throats out. It's just, it cannot continue. If we want to progress and become the city we should become, we have to start acting like adults, not third graders, okay? Now, I know that's really hard to hear, but for all of you who have not regularly attended city council meetings, you need to start right away, okay? The next one, I expect all of you there. Now, I would like to see Nogales with jobs that can keep our young people here. Not so much in produce, but something where they can go off to college and come back. This is a small town. They go off to college and they go to Phoenix or stay in Tucson where the money is. I hope that I can count on your vote for the primary, and let's grow Nogales together. Thanks.
I want to thank first for the invitation. It was a pleasure. They usually ask me, why am I running again? And you know, I tell the people that ask that question, well, if you have the same opportunity, why aren't you doing it? Just as easy as that. So we all have the same opportunity, and it's up to us to go ahead and have the opportunity of running in whatever, in this occasion for the city council. I live in Nogales half of my life. I'm gonna be here my other half. I'm not leaving, I'm staying, and I want a better community for me to stay here. Anyway, I'm gonna stay, but if I have a pleasure of having a better Nogales, and I enjoy being here, and I tell the people from everywhere I go, and I tell them, I love going somewhere else for vacation, but I'm waiting to come home. Why? I don't know. This is home for me, and I'm gonna stay. So if I'm gonna be part of this community, and if I have really the time to give it to you, to the community, to help, you know, get a better community, I'm more than willing to do it. Thank you, and it's up to you. You have the choice of having us or not. Thank you.
First, I would like to thank the Santa Cruz County Board of Realtors for the invitation and to be able to present myself to the public. One of the things that when I was getting my petition, my signatures, one of the questions that they keep asking me from the voters that they want to change. They wanted limited terms, okay? But in order for that to happen, the voters of the city of Nogales have to come out and vote. If you don't vote, there cannot be any change. So I encourage the voters of the city of Nogales to exercise their right to vote, okay? And briefly, just so that you know who I am, I was born and raised here in Nogales. I have a master's degree in business administration. I have 20 years experience in management and administration. I believe that you need to treat people like you would like to be treated yourself, and with respect. I'm an honest, dedicated, and qualified, and I would appreciate your vote. Thank you.
When I was also asking for signatures, some of the people told me, are you crazy? running for politics, for city council. And I remember one of the elections, politicians once said, if you can't stand the heat, get out of the kitchen. Well, I worked in the hospitality business. I worked at a restaurant here that's real popular. I worked at IHOP. I started out as a cook, and trust me, you got to be crazy to work in that place. When you see those tickets coming down and it's all that, and people don't start coming in, you got to be crazy to work in that place. I love the city. I believe in the city. My kids are going to grow up here. I want to stay here. That's why I'm running for city council. I believe that I still believe in this city can rebound. As a cliche goes in the hospitality business, I'm ready to serve, and I need your vote. I need your support this August. Thank you very much.
Okay, first of all, thank you to the Santa Cruz County Board of Realtors for inviting us. Here in Nogales, we all share the same dreams and the same ideas. The only thing is we can't follow through. Remember that one person cannot change the system here in Nogales. It takes the mayor and 6 councilmen to work together to pull in the same direction to make it work successfully. I want to be part of a government that is a strong government, that's pulling in the same direction, that's working for the residents of Nogales, and not for one person or a group of persons. I'm not much of a politician, but I do, and I make no promises, but I do assure you that if I get elected, I will work hard for the community and the residents, and I will try my best to follow through on all my dreams and goals. I believe the city of Nogales has done a lot of things for us. Now it's time for us to do something for Nogales. Thank you.
Thank you, candidates. We'll give them a round of applause for coming up here today. We're going to take a short, maybe 5-minute recess while we get the mayoral candidates situated up here.
Thank you very much.
1-minute opening statements from each of the candidates, and then we're going to turn up the heat a little bit. We're going to go to some of the audience questions. So, Mr. Melendez, we'll start with you. A 1-minute opening statement, please. Check your mic, please.
Start. Yeah, good evening to everybody. My name is Mike Melendez, and I'm running for mayor here of the town of Nogales. I'm calling it a town because we're going to make it a city. We're still a little town of less than 20,000 people, and we need to grow. We need to start by our city council and the mayor, and from then on, we're going to focus on everything that the citizens of this town need. Thank you very much.
Good evening, everybody. My name's Greg Lucero. I want to thank the Nogales Chamber and Santa Cruz County Board of Realtors. The reason I'm running is pretty simple. What we have before us is a good opportunity for us to make some impactful changes within the city of Nogales that are going to lead to a better and successful future. The road to success is always under construction. Unfortunately, we at the city have taken a detour, and my plan is to get us back on the path to success. And my focus is going to be working with the community, you the people, along with the fellow council members to develop plans and strategies, initiatives that takes advantage of our location here in Arizona along the Mexican border, working closely with Mexico, the state of Arizona, and other partners in the region. So I appreciate your support this August 28th. Thank you.
Hello, my name is Arturo Garino. I want to thank the board, both boards actually, for the invitation and the opportunity for us, the candidates, to be able to speak in our community. The reason I'm running is because in the past 3 years, I haven't seen much. Actually, it's not a real sound and responsible government. So if we're going to take Nogales forward and make it a progressive city, we have to work together. We have issues in the city council that are housekeeping issues. Those always pass simple. But then we have these problematic issues. We can't have that anymore. We have to concentrate in the city. The city is very important. The city of Nogales is the model port of the state of Arizona. We have to do that. We have to think that way. As councilmen and as residents and as mayor, I plan to do that, and I did that for 4 years while I was there.
Thank you, Mr. Garino.
Are you sure?
Yeah, absolutely.
Good evening. I also want to thank both boards and Mr. Coppola. Thank you so much and everyone for attending tonight. I'm Mayor John Doyle. Over the last 4 years, I have been the type of mayor who represents most of the community. And I take pride in the improvements and positive changes in our city that we have accomplished in these years. With that said, we have made the appropriate changes in our administration to bring accountability, efficiency, and productivity to our wonderful city. We have established a 5-year strategic plan to continue building a modern, futuristic city with keeping our old city charm. With these changes in place, we're making and moving forward in the areas of economic development, tourism, education, recreation, transportation, and strengthening our relationship with our sister city in Nogales, Sonora. We have formed alliances.
Your time is up.
Okay, thank you so much.
We're going to do a couple of housekeeping items here. Want you to know there's some voter registration forms over there in case somebody's not registered to vote and wants to participate in the democratic process. Secondly, I've been asked if the newcomers or the non-incumbent council members can stand up and introduce themselves real quick. non-incumbent.
Yes, I'm a current member of the Nogales City Council. In the last 6 months, thank you all for all your support and everything that you have done for me to make my stay at the Nogales City Council a good relationship with staff and everybody. Thank you guys very much.
Okay. So now the incumbent council members that are running in this election, please stand up. Okay. All right. Those who are not in the city council and are running for a city council seat, please stand and introduce yourself. Thank you. Sometimes we take it for granted that people know who the players are, and so I was asked to clarify that. Thank you very much. We're going to, as I said before, turn up the heat a little bit, and we're going to take some questions from the audience. They seem a little more, they have a little more bite than the ones we had pre-prepared. The first one is the City Council has one meeting a month. With everything that's going on, all the problems, all the issues that are confronting the city of Nogales, should the council have more than one regular meeting per month? Mayor Doyle, we'll start off with you.
Yes, thank you. Right now, that's we're following what the charter says, but whenever we need an extra meeting, we call for it. We can have as many meetings a month as we need, and we are working on that in case, see if the council would like to have another extra meeting a month. But whenever there is a need, we definitely call for a special session.
Thank you very much. Yes, we should have not one, but several meetings. And not only that, we should have study sessions. There's so much to be discussed amongst the city council. The study sessions actually put you in place of before the agenda item that you're going to be placing. And study sessions are very important. This year, I noticed that that means study sessions, there were some critical issues that should have been studied before they got to that point. We should have them, and not only the council meeting that is by city charter, the first Wednesday of the month, but we should have them as often as possible. And if some of the council or mayors or whoever that cannot be there, maybe they shouldn't be there. Because we need to work for the city of Nogales, and we need to be able to do as much as possible for the community. A lot of the people need to be able to be part of the committees also, and the study sessions, and be part of the councils. And I ask you all to attend the council meetings. They're very important. Thank you.
Thank you. Absolutely, we should have more than one meeting a month. We should at least have 2 a month. And the one thing I think that we falter in is that we don't keep to our regular schedule of meetings. So it's problematic not only for the community, but it's also problematic for the council members. You know, I think we should stick with an agenda of having a specific meeting at a specific time so everybody knows when we're having that meeting. The other thing, we don't do a good job of publicizing what it is we're going to be talking about. As Art said, study sessions are a good way to do that, but we could also list topics that we're going to be discussing at future council meetings, so that way people know when there's something of importance that they want to attend, they can make that particular meeting. But yeah, I think more meetings and regular scheduled meetings. Thank you.
Hello, my name is Mike Melendez again. I do believe that we need more sessions because the citizens of this town really don't know exactly if the city council or the mayor are really acting on their behalf. I think that we need to divide the city and put one of the aldermen in each of those sectors, so each one of the aldermen should know what are the necessities of the citizens. And once we know that, each city council or alderman need to take it into active to the meeting of the mayor and the other aldermen, and that way they will know exactly what are the requirements of the city. So we do need to have more sessions, and like Mr. Mayor Garino says, that we need to work more with the agenda and also make those sessions more more active into the necessities of the citizens.
Okay. Next question, Mr. Garino, you started off. How will you improve the lousy relations this council, the city has with county supervisors?
Well, easy. A study session. Honestly. If we have a study session and we get together and we meet without any agenda item at all, just so that we can meet, talk, and see what we can bring up to agenda. That's the best way to do it. I know that it's been saying, hey, we don't have a bridge from here to the county. We do have a bridge. I'll give you an example. When I was mayor, we started talking. Matter of fact, I had several conversations, Mr. Hanesian and myself, with Supervisor Reese. And in this administration, they completed what we started on the Nogalitos area on the flood issues. We did that with the county. So we do have good relations. It's just that sometimes it feels that we don't. We have to work together. District 1 is Nogales. Okay? Nogales, Supervisor District 1. The flood district money seems like it's never used in Nogales. It's used other places, except for the one section that we used it recently. So we have to work together, and the supervisors need to work with the city council. We have to be a team spirit. We have to do it.
Mr. Lucero?
Thank you. I wouldn't characterize the relationship as lousy. I think that each of us are very passionate about the issues that we speak about, the people that we represent, and I think we carry that forward in our discussions. You know, county supervisors have a specific role. We in the city have a specific role. I think what would help in addressing issues of mutual concern is we have to have more meetings, more often meetings and issues that are of interest to both the city and the county. But besides the county, I would also look at the other governmental districts in our area. We need to work closely with the school district. We need to work closely with the provisional community college. We need to work with all governments, because I think if we're going to have a stronger voice at the state and federal level, if Nogales and the greater Nogales area is unified and we all agree on certain issues, we're going to be stronger together. So I don't characterize as our relationship with the county as lousy. I think we're just very passionate about what we believe in. Thank you.
Well, we do need more relationship with the city county. Well, the county. Here in the city, there's 2 supervisors. District 1 that starts on Monte Carlo south to the border to Mariposa, and almost getting to Kino Springs. And District 2 is from western all the way up to the landfill. But the city only ends right before Meadow Hills. So we do need to get the supervisors really very involved in the problems of the city, because the supervisors, they take most of the money from all the property taxes here, and the city only takes 2% of the sales. So the most of the money is in the county. So they do need to be involved very well between the relations of the city with the county supervisors. Thank you very much.
Well, thank you very much. To bring you all up to par, we have a great relationship with the county. We work together on a daily basis with them, not only in projects that we have had, like the old Tucson Road. It was the county and the city that paid for that project. We paid also for the project that we're starting here we already approved the funding for Congress Street because they couldn't make up who it belonged to, the city or the county. I said, no problem. I said, let's get it together and let's both pay half and half. So we got that going to be underway. We also, as far as the Nogalitos project, that was done by the Doyle administration, not by any other administration. We voted on it. Our councilmen are witnesses to that. We approved it. It got done. County did their part. We did more than half of the other part. So we're working together, not only in those projects, but on a daily basis with our county managers. They work together. The public work directors, the public work people are working together closely on improving this community for all of you, not just Nogales, because we need to work together with all agencies, and we're doing it. That's even working with Mexico to improve things here in as far as education goes, as far as recreation goes, as far as health, arts and culture. We've got programs in place that are bringing together, and I started a new relation with as far as economic development goes with our mayor here, and working with the landowners, trying to work to see if we can move the railroad east of town. So that's underway, and we're working together with the school. We have 2 of our school board members on the city, and we're definitely trying to bring more education to our community. Thank you.
Mr. Lucero, if elected, under your leadership, what will you do to improve recreation such as bicycling, walking trails, etc. in our city?
Thank you. The issue of bikes in Nogales, there's a lot of bikers in Nogales. I'm a biker, and to ride your bike in Nogales is you're taking your life in your own hands. We do have a grant that's looking at creating some bike paths in some of the major corridors in Nogales. It's obvious that there's a lot of enthusiasm for biking. We are looking at creating some trail rides in the I guess the desert areas around Nogales. But one of the things that I did when I was with the county, we started doing walking trails out in the county. And if you look out in Rio Rico, everywhere we put walking trails, I'm amazed at the amount of activity that occurs in Rio Rico from the walking paths that we've built out there. And they should be examples for us here in the city to follow. If we create an environment where people can enjoy a beautiful walk without taking their life at hand or at risk, I think that's a great opportunity for us. You look at Pearson, it's loaded with people. If we can create that kind of opportunity throughout the city, particularly in neighborhoods where people can go out and walk around their neighborhood and enjoy it, that's something that I'd be in favor of. Right now, really all the funding that's available is grant funding. Highway user revenue tax funds or gasoline tax funds, that is a depleting resource, so it's going to be harder and harder to create opportunities like that. But I think maybe if we would partner with the county, use some of their skills, their resources to create some of these pedestrian pathways and bike paths, that would benefit us. Thank you.
Thank you. Mr. Melendez.
Well, I am for all what it's to improve Nogales and the citizens here of Nogales. We do need more bikes areas so the bikers can move. We need improving the parks that we have. We need to put some facilities.
Excuse me, Mr. Melendez. There's no doubt we have these needs. The question is, what will you do to address them?
Well, Well, I would see what's the necessities here of the town, and then we need to improve them. We need to get involved with the federal government and have more fundings to approve more money for those necessities. We do need to improve the skills here of our kids here in the town, and of course we do need more walking trails. And more facilities for our kids. I am for that.
Thank you very much. Well, one of the things we need to do, especially for the bikes, we need to partner with the state of Arizona. Our principal roads in the city of Nogales, which is Grand Avenue, Arroyo, Mariposa, and State Route 82, Patagonia Highway, belong to the state. Without us partnering with them, we could never get a bike route in those areas. They need to help out on that. I don't know exactly if the space is there, but their engineers could figure it out, and our city engineers could figure that out too. But let's address that issue because the principal roads are there. Usually the people that ride the bicycles on Fridays, they usually go on Morley Avenue, and they do come across on Mariposa Road and to Safeway. But they use Morley Avenue for that reason. The Morley Avenue belongs to the city of Nogales, and it's more friendlier when it comes to traffic. Grand Avenue and the other roads are 45 miles an hour. So we do need a bike path or at least a right-of-way on that. Another thing, when I was mayor, that we built the Hohokam soccer field.
Thank you, Mr. Goodman.
The red card isn't up.
Yeah, it's gone up and down a couple times.
There's bike trails on the Hohokam soccer field that were never completed.
I like that. That means I can go another minute after the red flag. Well, I got news for the community. We're already working on it. We're already working with ADOT about those bicycle paths. That with them, it's going to be a little longer range. Since I came in, I started working right away with our local bicycle groups, Zero Stress. As a matter of fact, we're building over there in a park where we have at the end of Sonora in Monte Carlo, and we're gonna put bicycle trails. We're gonna put not only a bicycle paths but also walking trails, and we're gonna put in those run around competitive bicycle races that they have in that area. So we're working with Zero Stress and our bicycle enthusiasts here in town to improve everything. We've got grants already that have come in for that. The council has already approved some of it, and we're going to continue to approve everywhere where we can establish another bicycle lane here in town. So we're working together even with Rio Rico, and thank you very much. I see the red flag. So.
Thank you. Mr. Melendez, start this one off, please. The last couple of administrations, the issue of separation of church and state has come up in the context of prayer during city council meetings. Do you feel that prayer is appropriate during city council meetings?
Well, first of all, our country, in our bills, it says, thanks to God. So I do approve that we do need to praise God for this, to help us to move in a better way and to move forward for the best of the community. I do approve.
Thank you. The issue of prayer before the meetings has the potential to lead to controversy. I'm indifferent about it. If people would like to have a prayer, fine. But what happens is you then open the door up to other religious cults and activities, and that's where you run into problems. I don't know if you've seen in Phoenix, for example, you had the satanic cults that want to lead prayer before a particular meeting, and that's something that we'd have to contend with. So if we're going to do it, then we're opening up the doors to other religious cultures. So again, I'm indifferent. If people want to do it, that's fine. I don't have a problem with it. Thank you.
Well, I'm the one that brought prayer to the city council, all right? Because I couldn't believe it that since 1926, prayer had never been in the city council. And I had attended a lot of meetings prior to that that needed prayer. Seriously needed prayer. And a little bit more than that. But I think prayer is important. It's done at the state, it's done in the federal government, and why not? It's just an invocation. It's just something that a priest or somebody comes by, because it could be a pastor, it could be anybody who wants to do it. It's been done by nonprofits. They can come and do it. And the way I had it, we sent letters to everybody so that we wouldn't just pick just one. Anybody could come do it. And it's just started right after you do the Pledge of Allegiance and get it going and get the council meeting going. And it does help, believe me. Prayer does help. Thank you.
Thank you.
Well, I think I've been criticizing for having too much prayer, but yes, I believe in prayer at city council meetings and anything else that we need for God to bless this community to be prosperous. And I don't think our prayers have gone in vain, because you can see that the favor not only of the state but of the nation, that they've given us a $25 million Tiger grant for SR 189 and $134 million from the state. So yes, prayer does work. It opens doors. And I believe that's why this administration has been so successful, because the prayers have gone and they have not been in vain. We have been blessed by the Almighty, and I believe He'll continue to bless this community as long as we continue to honor Him and ask Him to be part of us. And I think that's what He's doing. So prayer is a very important thing, and I thank God right now for what He's doing here in Nogales. Thank you.
Don't sit down, Mr. Doyle. The next one's for you.
Well, the next one's for me. All right.
Oh, you said don't sit down. Sit down.
Try and be as specific as you can here, please. The long-term economic future of Nogales directly affects quality of life, as you know. How would you proactively address this issue by, for example, supporting current employers and working with new or prospective employers and making Nogales attractive to new businesses?
Yes, we already have in place, our city manager is already working with his staff to beautify the city. You notice downtown, we have already a facelift. All the buildings have been painted. You can see the streets now that they're in great shape. There's been more paving projects, more maintenance, and that's... Okay, anyway, we'll continue. But yes, we're doing our part, and specifically, and I think that we have the right team manager with our city manager. He's doing a great job, and you'll notice a difference in the next year. It's already underway. Probably by the end of the year, you'll notice a lot of changes. So we are doing what we need to do. We have that 5-year strategic plan in place, and that's what's guiding us and directing us in all these paths and in all these needs. Thank you.
Thank you very much. At this point right now, the way I look at it, if the city of Nogales is not a business-friendly community, we're going to have issues with employment. If the city of Nogales does not start working on the Standard Development Code and revising it, we're going to have problems with employment. We're going to have problems with new and existing businesses. Remember, we're in the floodway. Anytime somebody wants to do something, here we go. You know, they want you to raise the building 4 feet high. All right? That's one of the issues that we probably would need to get together with the county. But if the Arizona revised statutes, if we get them going and we bring them up to par, we can get it to the point that anybody that wants to construct in the city of Nogales, or businesses that want to come to Nogales, or actually want to look at Nogales, they're going to be able to look at it and say, you know what?
That's it.
There's a red card in front of me.
Thank you.
You got to be careful with the timer. Nogales was founded on trade. The key to our economic development is going to be looking at our port of entry. So you guys are all realtors, businessmen. What is our economic development plan? You more than anyone should know what the city is doing for economic development. And I think that's where we're at. Everyone is confused. We do not have a plan. Businesses that come here don't know what we have to offer. I think what is critical for us to do is look at our port of entry, make it the model port of entry that everyone across the U.S. can look at and say, this is where we want to come to locate our business and industry. This is where we want to set up our shop. And then we can start focusing on education. We need to train and develop our workforce. That's going to encourage more business and industry to relocate here. So that would be the strategy that I would take. Look at the port of entry. Thank you.
Well, first of all, Mr. Mayor, not all the buildings are painted. The only buildings that are being painted is the one who's one of the owners of one of the buildings, or most of the buildings that everybody is selling is buying. So he's the one who's painting his buildings. We need to improve Nogales here by actualizing the laws to make it more attractive for the tourists to come to Nogales and also the investors. If we don't actualize the laws and keep doing Nogales here or looking Nogales like a poor town, they're never going to come and visit here and creating jobs. The investors from the north and investors from the south. We're the doorway to the most powerful country in the world, but it doesn't look like this. It looks like it starts in Green Valley or Sahuarita. So we need to actualize the laws to make our town.
Thank you. I believe our time is up for questions. One more question. How can we provide convenient alternatives to driving, such as walking, biking, and public transportation? Mr. Garino? Close to the, okay.
It's too close to the one with the bicycles. Is it the same? Yes.
Got it. All right. In 2017, Mr. Garino, Mayor Jonathan Rothschild provided a mayor's progress report detailing an effort to move Tucson forward beginning in 2017. This was a positive message to the community detailing actions taken to achieve this goal. Do you feel public outreach by the mayor would be an effective means of communication and a positive step for Nogales residents? I heard we had a State of the City address in Douglas not too long ago, but we've yet to see one here in Nogales, so thus the question.
Well, yeah, it's very important to have a State of the City address, all right? Every year. I had one every year in March. And the reason you have them is to inform the citizens of Nogales and whoever wants to come in, mayors from the outside, to see exactly how you're doing with your budget and how important it is and how your economy is and the opportunities that you will have, anybody will have, to be able to prosper in Nogales. That's the reason you have those. And you also, at the same time, you allow all the department heads the opportunity for them to display what they've done in the past year. Another thing, when it comes to Mayor Rothschild, I just want to inform everybody. He sent a letter to Mexico City, letting everybody in Mexico City know that Tucson was the port of Arizona. They missed Nogales. Somewhere, something happened. I have it at home. It was sent to me. So if that's what they're doing, we need to do it in Nogales. Nogales needs to be able to be the port. Remember, Nogales.
Mr. Lucero.
What was the question again?
Make the question a little more for the citizens here. Manny, can you
Essentially, the question is, a progress report or a state of the city address, do you feel that that's an effective outreach by the mayor and the city of Nogales to communicate with Nogales residents?
Perfect. So one of the things that I've been pushing for, and we finally implemented it this year, was we needed to get together in a planning retreat with mayor and council. And for the first time in the 4 years that I've been there, we finally got together, started coming up with a vision, goals and objectives on how we needed to move forward. This then ties into the budget process. We then can go back to the city staff and say, these are the things that we want to focus on, city staff, and then they could plug that into the budget. And then what we want to do is then halfway through the budget cycle, get an update on where we're at with our progress. And then if things in the economy change, then we need to tweak and augment our goals and objectives. That's when we should then come back to the citizens when we've actually implemented some of the things that we've identified. But this process should be an open process. It should be transparent. All of you should be involved in this process. And it's a report card basically from the city to you, the citizens. So yes, we need to do this on an annual basis and probably right before the budget process so we can incorporate things into the budget. Thank you.
Yes, I am also forward with that. We do need to inform the citizens here of Nogales of what's happening in the city. The budget right now is almost $57 million, and most of the citizens doesn't even know what does the budget contains. Last year it was $54 million, but lots of that doesn't go into the streets, into the same citizens of here of Nogales. So we do need to inform the citizens of what is the budget and what is what the mayor and the councilman does. So we do need to inform the citizens and also try to comply with all the necessities of the city, of the residents and the citizens of Nogales.
Well, thank you so much. Again, I guess they didn't mention Mayor Rothschild, and he did make that comment that the port started there in Tucson. As a matter of fact, we were in Mexico City, the southern mayor's with him, and we kind of put him in his place, letting him know where the real port was, right here in Nogales. And then Yuma said, we're second, we're closer to the border than you are, Tucson. So that was out there in a major discussion in Mexico City that we had. So the thing is that we have a lot going on here in Nogales. It's a small rural area, but all you have to go is look around, see how we've improved our infrastructure. That 1 million gallon tank that helps secure our safety by giving us enough water pressure to fight any fire. Again, we've done quite a bit of projects. So yes, we are informing the public, but we need to do, I guess, a final state of the city so that you'll all know what all the benefits this administration has provided for you. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Now, we're going to do closing statements beginning with Mr. Melendez. And we're going to add a twist to this. In your closing statements, which should be no longer than 2 minutes, please include or let the community know of one campaign promise that you're willing to commit to.
Well, thank you, Ken, for assisting here. My name is Mike Melendez, and I'm a resident and a citizen here of Nogales, and a citizen of the United States. I've been in business here in the town for 24 years, and I haven't been seeing lots of improvements here in the city. By electing me as mayor, I will be dedicating 100% of the time for the citizens here of the town. And we do need to improve the laws, because the aldermen and the mayor are the ones who can do that. If one law doesn't comply with the necessities, well, we need to change it. Other things that we need to do here in Nogales is beautify it to make it more attractive for the investors. The investors from Mexico or the south of the country and from the north. We need to also comply with the necessities of having a university here so our kids don't have to go to Tucson or somewhere else. And we need to also make it more improvement for the students from Mexico to come here and study, and also that will create a better environment for investors to create more jobs.
And your campaign promises, sir?
I'm sorry?
Your campaign promise is?
Well, I already talked about 3 of them. So one of the campaign promises are creating a university, actualizing the laws, beautifying the city, and also complying with most of the necessities of the town. Those are my promises. Thank you very much.
First of all, again, thank the Board of Realtors and the Chamber of Commerce, and mostly all of you for taking time out of your valuable day to come out here and listen to 4 of us. I think you've heard all of us have ideas and ways to get things done. If you want change, there's 2 of us that are going to be new, and there's 2 that have been mayor, so it's going to be an easy decision for you guys to make. Do you vote for change, or do you keep with the status quo? I'm hoping that you look at change. One of the things that I want to focus on is real simple. I talked about trade. You know what our most valuable export is? Jaime? Tell me what our most valuable export is. Our children. That's what's happening, folks. We have nothing for our children. If we don't create true economic opportunities for our children, there's nothing for us to leave behind as a legacy. That's how we will be judged, what we've done for our children in our community. So my number 1 priority is to come up with an economic development plan that's going to bring real jobs, that's going to create real wealth for families that can earn a real income, that can support their families and send their kids to school, and then in turn they can come back and have a job for themselves. That's going to be my primary objective. Thank you.
Well, I want to thank both boards for inviting us here, and I want to thank you all for being here. One thing I want to say is that, you know, we look at what are the promises. You know, I can promise a lot of things, but I know there's certain things that we do have to do. We need to revitalize the downtown, our historic district. We need to work on that. We also need to work on having a sound, professional, and transparent government with open door policy in the city of Nogales, so that you are comfortable to go see the mayor and members of the city council. We also need to do, what we need to do is also be able to attract businesses from the outside, like I mentioned before, by working on our standard development code. It's simple. There's certain things there that are stopping construction and having a lot of problems, because I've talked to a lot of contractors. We need to work on that. And then we talked about working with the county. Of course, working with the county is very important. But let's remember, let's work on the city of Nogales. Let's be citizens. Let's love Nogales. All of us. You know, I like to say that my blood runs in the heart of the city of Nogales. And I want to say that your blood does too. So let's work. Let's work at achieving that, and let's work as being a community, all one, not just a mayor and city council. Let all of us be together. That's the only way we're going to do it. Thank you very much for giving me the opportunity to be here.
Again, thank you all so much for being here today. What we're doing here in the city, as far as what the complaint is that we have to do this, we have to do that, we are working on it already. This administration is already focused on bringing more jobs, bringing industry. We're already setting the infrastructure. That's the first thing you have to do. We're setting the infrastructure. That's why we're kind of looking and exploring annexation for more growth. And the thing is that we have the team. We have in Public Works the team to work that's taking us forward with the leadership of Dr. Felix, our city manager. the council is in accord. We're all working together to bring that. And right now, you'll notice that the infrastructure that we have, I said the 1 million gallon water tank, which brings safety and it brings water to all the area. It's connected to the whole water system, which gives pressure to the whole city. Not because the last administration, there was a warehouse that burned down because we did not have enough water pressure. I took that seriously, and now we have the water pressure. We have the transmission lines that are bringing 3 times more of the electricity that we need here in this area that we can connect to and have that electricity for bringing in major industry into our community. We're not just doing anything or nothing. We are looking for the future of our children. We want to establish that they can live here in Nogales. If they want to go somewhere else, it's because they have that opportunity. But here, they'll have the opportunity to stay. If they want to stay here and get educated and work here, we will bring better jobs. And that's what we're doing. And that's why I ask for your support to be reelected, because we are doing things. Things are happening. And you can wait even by the time we have the election, you'll notice the change and the difference because we're working at a quick speed now. So please, I ask for your support that we continue to make Nogales a better tomorrow. Thank you so much for everything. God bless all of you.
This concludes our forum of... Thank you all for coming. One more thing before we take off here. We have a number of state candidates, politicians that have come from far away to attend this forum, and I'd like to invite them to come up to the mic for half a minute or a minute to introduce themselves. Come on up. Mr. Ackerley, start it off.
Good evening, and thank you to the Board of Realtors and Nogales Chamber for hosting the events. It's awesome to see so many people involved in local politics. My name is Chris Ackerley. I was the state representative for the district in 2015 and 16. Crazy enough to want to try to do it again. When I am not a relapsing politician, I am a high school math and science teacher. I currently run a math credit recovery program at Amphi High. So education policy is primarily what motivated me to get into politics. But one of the more important things, though, is actually having a seat at the table in Phoenix. I saw one of my major jobs when I was in the state legislature was to make sure that the folks that were making the decisions in Phoenix understood the reality outside of Maricopa County. And so that was an important thing that I was able to get across at the state capitol. Thank you so much for having us, and thank you for allowing us to introduce ourselves.
Good evening. I'm Rosanna Gabaldon. I am your Arizona State Representative. I'm just finishing up my 3rd term, and I'm asking you for a 4th term. I have to tell you that it is an ongoing learning process, but I'm learning, and what makes me a good student is I'm learning from what the issues are important to our district. There is bipartisanship. There is more that we agree, that we disagree. So again, I want to bring ideas from Southern Arizona because that's what our state needs. It needs a little common sense and straight from the heart, and I can bring that. I bring integrity, I bring effective leadership, and I want to continue to be your Arizona State Representative. And what I have done over these last 6 years is to build a good, positive relationship with the city of Nogales, with Santa Cruz County, and with the rest of Legislative District 2. And I want to continue to do that, ladies and gentlemen, but I ask for your support, and because I'm very humbled, because this is what I'm learning from all of you, and that's what I need. But I will bring your ideas to the state capitol. Thank you very much, and I ask for your support.
Hello, everybody. I'm Bobby Wilson. I'm running for the state senate for our district. My wife and I live in Green Valley. I'm a law professor by trade. I've been teaching law here in Arizona for about 23 years. I came up with a plan a few years ago, and I've decided to run for the state senate because I don't see anything happening in LD2. That's our district. We need some new blood in there, and I'm running on a Republican ticket, and I want to do three things. I want to double the tax base of all of the real estate in our county, in our district, and I can do that. I want to do away with the state income tax. It's doable. I want to decrease everybody's real estate taxes. It is doable. I came up with a plan that is scaring my opponent to death. She calls me the Darth Vader. And I don't know why. But, it's too complicated to try to go over in 2 minutes, so I'll just ask you to go to the internet, look at Bobby's plan to make Arizona great. It's on Facebook, it's on Google, and it's on 2 or 3 of my political sites. It's revolutionary, it's doable, nobody's taxes is going up. It'll turn this whole district around. I ask for your support. Thank you very much.
Hello, my name is Anthony Sizer. I'm a candidate for State House of Representatives. I'm an Eagle Scout and an engineer. Yes, I'm not a career politician. I've never been in politics. However, I have written a House bill, HB 2050. Some of you would probably really enjoy this. What it is about protecting your constitutional rights. What that entails is the right to challenge a local government or a state government or a county court that files a judgment against you without a court of law proceeding. In other words, if a state department or agency or local government decides to repossess your home, your property, your children, your wages, you can actually vacate it using the statute that HB 2050 would have modified, what it is called declaratory relief. Without constitutionally mandated process of court proceeding, you can actually vacate it immediately using that statute. That's called ARS 41-1034. So this is one example of me applying engineering problem-solving approach. That's what I'm here to do. I'm here to be your voice. I'm here to build our economy down here throughout all of southern Arizona, and I'm here to listen to problems. One of the big things that I've done is basically go door to door and ask, what are the local issues and how do I resolve it? Thank you very much. My name is Anthony Sizer, candidate for State House. Thank you.
Hey everybody, my name is Sergio Arellano and I'm running for Congress against Raul Grijalva. Well, thank you. I'm a first-generation American. I'm born and raised in Tucson, Arizona. My parents are from Sonora, Mexico. My mom is from Yecora, Sonora. My dad from Agua Prieta, Sonora. At the age of 17, I joined the U.S. Army and I served 10.5 years honorably. In 2003, I went to Iraq and I was there for about a year and a couple months. Unfortunately, due to a roadside bomb, I was rendered unable to continue in my military service and I had to retire. When I got out into my community, I decided to work for wounded warriors and homeless veterans to get them off the street. I'm currently an elected school board member where my children attend school. I have 2 boys and 2 girls. And I'm running for Congress because I want to bring that representation that's lacking here in this congressional district. I heard from a lot of great candidates today, a lot of passion in their hearts, and I want to translate that over here. My priorities are jobs in the economy, education, and fighting for our veterans so we can keep our kids here. Get the funding for vocational training into all high schools, and also fight to bring more economic prosperity, fully fund our port, stop with the lines, allow commerce to flow, and bring prosperity to all. That's my job, security and economic prosperity for all. I look for your vote, and thank you so much for allowing me to be here. Thank you to the Chamber and the Board of Realtors. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Not to discriminate against our county politicians or candidates, I invite them to come up and introduce themselves quickly as well.
All right. How much time do I have? A minute? Okay. You want to go? Ladies first. Ladies first.
Hi, my name is Jessica Mendez. I am running for Justice of the Peace, Precinct 1. I am a woman of justice, of respect, and equality. I have been here for all my life. I went to the University of Arizona for my paralegal studies, and I have my own business where I run family law, civil law, and some criminal law as well. With that said, I am equipped to be able to fulfill this position, and I am asking all of you if you can please reconsider me and hopefully vote for me August 28th.
Good evening. I am Emilio Velasquez, and I have served as your Justice of the Peace for the last 4 years. It has been an incredible journey serving the community. When I was first elected, it was an overwhelming position to take on. But I will tell you something, is that I was investing so much of my time to educate myself on the law, the legal process, and most of all, the due process that we allow people to have. Tonight, I have heard so many individuals talking about what they want to do for the community and just talking about many promises. It's really important when you run for positions that you fulfill those obligations. Not only have I fulfilled the obligations of being in the courtroom on a daily basis, which is incredibly overwhelming and busy, as you probably know, here in Santa Cruz County. But it's really important to have been able to bring programs to the community that I believe are very strong. One of the things I strongly believe on is that we do not continue to criminalize people. We continue to educate people. We continue to get people through the process and make sure that we can go ahead and allow them to have a successful life. Everyone makes mistakes. People should not be defined by their mistakes. People should be allowed to have a life. Don't forget on August 28th, vote Emilio Velasquez for Justice of the Peace.
Good evening, everybody. My name is Mark Williams. I'm an attorney in Nogales, Arizona. I graduated from San Diego State University with a bachelor's degree in political science. Thereafter, I went to Thomas Jefferson School of Law in San Diego and graduated with my law degree. In 2003, I passed the bar exam and was admitted to practice law in the state of Arizona. I've been out here since 2003. I have 4 beautiful children. My first 3 children have gone through all the schools and graduated from Rio Rico High School. 2 of them have graduated from the University of Arizona, and 1 is currently there pursuing his business degree. I have my youngest one, Mark. He's 11 years old, and I'm proud that he graduated from Challenger, and he's getting ready to go to middle school, so I'm very proud of him. For me, children are a blessing from God. And in this world, you may not have very much money, but I guarantee you, if you have children, you'll always be rich. That's what I believe. In any event, I have had the privilege of representing many people here in Santa Cruz County in divorce cases, criminal cases, civil cases, many different types of cases. And I hope to continue on in the courts as a judge of the Superior Court Division 1. My goal, if elected, is I would like to use the position of judge to go out and meet all the high school students and attempt to influence them and encourage them to pursue an education, stay out of trouble, and live productive lives. That's my goal, and I would really appreciate you consider voting for me on August 28th in the primary and November 6th in the general election. I'm a Democrat, and I'm running for judge of the Superior Court Division 1. Thank you.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Edward Huerta. I am your incoming constable. I started my career as a constable back in 2014 when I was elected. Prior to that, I was an Arizona process server. Since 2004, I became an Arizona process server. I worked with most of the attorneys down here in Nogales, and as they could justify for me. One other thing, I ran for two reasons. Number one was, of course, because of the name. Number two, because I was the only person qualified, I believe, at the time to take the position. And like my former boss said, I took the bull by the horn and I went with it. And, you know, I've been successful. And, you know, so August 28th, please vote for Edward Huerta and to continue serving the community in a well manner. Thank you very much.
Good evening. My name is Juan Barajas. I'm born and raised in Nogales, Arizona. I have 26 years of law enforcement experience. I work for the Sheriff's Office, Immigration, and CBP. Prior to leaving the Sheriff's Office, I was a civil deputy, in which my duties were those of a constable. I worked for Superior Court, JP Court, serving papers, summons, subpoenas. So I do have the experience, and now I want to put that experience to work for the county. I want to demonstrate and put that office and run it the way it should be. Professional and by a law enforcement officer. Thank you.
Good evening. On behalf of the Nogales Santa Cruz Board of Realtors and the Nogales Santa Cruz Chamber of Commerce and the Nogales International, we would like to thank you for attending and participating and supporting your community. Let's not forget to vote on August 28th and make the wise decision. Thank you very much for attending.